I may have got a few more of these bottles than I thought I did.
Yeah, do you think?
Hey, do you see what I'm working on a sponsorship here? Just in case, when we get started here, anybody from Duke Cannon is watching and they want to sponsor the podcast, we'll gladly lather up with your Shamrock soap or your let's see, they got a Buffalo Trace that is great. So I'm a subscriber to Duke Cannon. I love their stuff. So I'm definitely working on that avenue.
How are you? Wait a second. What the heck? That's the stuff they sell at the Cracker Barrel, right?
Listen, this is last year's box. That one's gone. I just got this one today. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. That stuff smells incredible.
All right. Let me quick see now if this is working in YouTube. And I got to just make sure I got sound with these new speakers. Let's get out of that.
Adam, you do see the red tealing, which was probably not a shocker to anybody that followed along with me for the last 2 weeks. Probably one of my favorite bottles.
YouTube, and
that bottle was crazy.
Make sure I got sound with these new speakers. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm not close. I gotta back off.
Adam, you do see the red tealing.
All right, it's working. It's working.
I can hear myself through your speaker, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just making sure there was sound on YouTube, that you were hearing YouTube live. But I gotta somehow get this. Let's see, a little bit bigger, a little bit higher. All right, I'm looking at I'm just trying to make the feed work because I got the sound now. I just got to make sure that I'm in it. It's like there we go. We're ready to go almost. There's Stacey.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi, Stacey. Oh, look at that cool shirt.
This is my office. My husband is gaming downstairs, so I wanted to make sure you could actually hear me.
I understand that a lot. The hard part for me, if there's too much happening at my house, all of a sudden I lose my internet connection and the whole thing goes. So I got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Hey, Jamie said the Buffalo Trace Duke Cannon is awesome, and you're not wrong, Jamie. That's my son's favorite soap to use. So it's loved by many. And yes, the Bua is awesome. And Stacey will attribute to that. She loves the I can't even say it right.
White Moscatel.
Moscatel. I want to say that like 50 different ways every time I say it. So.
Is it this one?
The orange one.
The orange one.
That's what I call it. That's
it, right?
For us guys.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
we got the white one, but Jay forgot to bring it over today.
Oh,
slacker.
The white was great. The orange is just so different. And then let me just tell you, when you take the two purple ones, batch 1 and 2, and blend them together, that got really fun.
That's
Tawny port, 2 different versions that they had. Oh my.
All right.
We'll definitely have to try those. You guys is live down there at bar in Columbus.
Yeah, so Stacey, who's on with us now, she was there. She was just kind of off camera, but she is the resident Irish whiskey. What's a good term to put this, Stacey? Like
I see
know it all?
Enthusiast. I don't know it all.
That's awesome.
She knows Irish whiskey. She knows so much about St. Paddy's Day that I'm not even sure how I'm going to hang over there on Friday, because I don't even, the agenda is like way crazy. Like, okay, you got to be here 8:05 and we're going to do this. And at 8:16, we're doing this. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to keep up.
So that's happening on Friday with you?
Yep. I think, isn't that Friday, Stacey, at Bua? Starts at the Burns Pub.
Okay.
Yeah. They start early Friday, and then they'll have parties Saturday, Sunday for St. Patrick's Day, and then Monday is the survivors party.
Okay.
What?
That sounds fun.
So the good thing is that's like 25 minutes from my house, so that's pretty easy.
We'll probably be there on Sunday after the parade at some point.
Okay. So then we on Sunday are going to Matt's place, and we're going to get there about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And his so what's on the menu, Matt?
Let's see. Matt would know more because he was telling me the names of all these meats. I know there's kibasi. I tried to get him to do braised short ribs, but he talked me into some other kind of ribs.
Okay.
And I said, okay, that sounds good too. He's making a bunch of meats. And I was like, I feel like we need some kind of bread would be cool. Put it on a sandwich, we'd be happy.
Now, wait a second. People don't know who Matt is, but Matt's not just going to Arby's. This is a guy who knows what he's doing.
He is the head chef at the Barrel Room in Valley View, and he also is the head chef at gosh, what is it called? Of course, in the spotlight's on me, I can't remember things. But where we went last St. Patrick's Day, Forage Public House in Lakewood. He used to have both of those restaurants, and basically he goes in, puts together their menu, and then comes up with some amazing food that comes out of there. But I'm really excited for him to cook breakfast, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's going to be next level. I'm not going to make it through the weekend. Holy crap. And then I have a bingo party. It's labeled a certain name with a bunch of friends on Saturday night. So I'll be lucky to make it alive past Friday. Then Saturday I come back at it, and it's just.
And you start early.
And then I just found out that Monday is the "Oh my God, you live! Come back and drink some more" party.
Where at Bua?
That sounds like an
At Burns Pub, yeah.
At Burns?
Survivors party at Burns Pub.
A survivor. I've never even heard of the survivors party. Oh my
That
God.
does it every year.
That's true. Is Tuesday the day that you take off work and just take a nap after all that? Because I feel like it's going to be like a lay in bed type of day.
Dude, that's gonna hurt.
A lot of us have been partying since January 2nd. So,
Nice.
I'm wore out by then.
Today I don't know what it is, but I'm already worn out, and I haven't had any whiskey yet. All right. So I'm
enjoying a nice Bua single grain that is, my God, it's a good bottle.
All right. Are you guys getting ready to start? Y'all want to start?
Yeah.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube, but we're going to start the actual podcast for recording. And we're ready to go here. And what you'll hear is there'll be a 30-second spot that you won't be able to hear nobody, but it runs on the recording. It's for the Spirit of French Lick. Alan Bishop, he's got One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube, and then also on the podcast formats if you have Ghosts, you have everything. Check that out. And then we just did our dual barrel pick down at the Spirit of French Lick with Alan. Picked a brand new brand, which is called the Lillian Sinclair. It is a 4-grain that has the two main grains besides corn reversed from the Lee W. Sinclair. So it's something that, and then also there was a couple of 2 French oak staves dropped in the barrel, which made it taste like spectacular. I've got samples I'm going to share with everybody as we go out. And then also we picked out our second William Dalton barrel. This barrel was really close to they have an indoor rick house that they have but they also have 2 outdoor rick houses. And on the bottom of the rick house is steel, except for the bottom, it's wood. And where it's wood, the weather can get through a little. And this Dalton was sitting there right next to the wood. So it was exposed to some weather. So the last William Dalton that we had, that pick actually, this one, I think it's better. It's that one was 5.5 years, 111.1. I don't have the proof on that yet, but I know that it's 6.5 years. So we're going to go with that. And you'll hear, once you hear the 30 seconds is up, you'll hear our theme song, and we'll get into this. All right. So here we go with, I'm going to start recording and playing the clip.
Or something.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, raising some hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, we're here to have fun, and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We have a big cast here tonight, and this is our St. Patrick's Day podcast. In the past, we've been podcasting on St. Patrick's Day, but then the podcast runs the next day, so it doesn't make sense. So this time, we're doing it on the Tuesday before St. Patrick's Day. So you can watch this podcast all through the week and listen to it or watch it on St. Patrick's Day also. So that works out. But we have CT.
Everybody?
We've got Matt Lyzen from Cleveland on the Rocks. And,
Go, guys.
and also Stacey Stearns, right?
Cheers, everyone.
Yes. And do you called yourself enthusiast? But do you have any, Facebook or YouTube channels, that type of thing?
Yes, I'm on YouTube and Instagram under 4 Leaf Whiskey.
Okay, there you go. And there's a reason why Stacey's on tonight, because, CT's like, she knows more about Irish whiskey than all of us put together. And Matt's on tonight because we're going to be up by his place, and it's becoming a St. Patrick's Day, what would you say, tradition. This will be the second year that we'll be up there partying with you. So
Good to me. Can't wait.
Hey, as long as you keep the Scorpion bottle foot up.
I'll be right here for you. I'm waiting for you.
What the hell did you bring? That was completely blocked from my mind. Wait, okay, there we go. All right, there's some technical difficulties like usual. So let's get this thing started. The state of Ohio, starting with a little bit starting off in the first weekend of March, introduced a huge event that we were all a part of throughout the state. I got on Saturday, met Matt over in Cleveland at the Giant Eagle in Strongsville, had a good time. Fred Minnick was there. We got the, Andemic, and it's all based off of them releasing these single barrels that they picked in November in Ireland, or maybe it was October. I don't know, but OHLQ went over there and were able to do something that I think is unique. Stacey, do you know any other place in the United States that's ever done anything like this?
Nothing like this. Nothing to this scale. No.
Right. So Anne was saying that Total Wine had done some Irish picks, that type of things. And then I know Martin Duffy, who is the Glencairn, the North American Glencairn crystal glass representative, and he worked in the Irish whiskey industry and also in the Scotch industry before he came over here. And he will tell you that initially he wasn't sure how this was going to work, because how whiskey is distributed most of before lately, there's a lot of, and what this really, I believe, what would you say, really accentuated and highlighted the craft distillery movement that's happening in Ireland. Because before maybe 10 years ago, there was 4 main distilleries in the whole.
Now there's 42.
Right. And that is something that I think the United States craft distilling movement really kind of probably inspired. It doesn't quite, it's just right behind it, right? I mean, the craft distilleries here are really in my opinion, when I first jumped into this in like 2018, 2019, there's a lot of negative connotation about being craft. Although it was being broken down, there's just some craft distilleries that had put out product too fast. And a lot of the critics and everybody were writing about how, it was going to be hard to overcome it. Well, we've obviously overcome it, but I also feel that Ireland's a little bit further than that now, because what we tasted, and got to do in this 3-day event. It was Friday in Cincinnati, Saturday in Cleveland, and then Sunday at in Columbus. And that's where I got to meet you at Burns Pub. And it sounds like you have a whole lineup for this coming weekend happening down there.
Yeah, we have several events at Burns Pub over the weekend. We have the St. Patrick's Day Parade on Sunday for the city of Columbus. Several of the Irish organizations will be involved in that. We have the Survivors Party the day after St. Patrick's Day at Burns Pub. So it's going to be a packed weekend for the Irish in Columbus.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like I forgot to take Monday off, which I'll need to make that adjustment in my plans.
So
calling my boss tomorrow.
So Matt, we're going to be coming up on Sunday. I mean, but Cleveland, I believe, has a St. Patrick's Day party too.
They do. They're all over downtown. Everywhere has their corned beef and, was it the corned beef and sauerkraut sandwiches down there? Pigs and eggs in the morning. Yep. It's a big thing down here.
Yeah, so I know that it gets pretty wild there. Not quite as, I mean, in both places, I think there's a rich Irish tradition, but, everybody knows in Chicago, that's the place where, St. Patrick's Day, I mean, they turn the river green. I'm pretty sure they still do that, right? I think they did last year as far as I saw. So hopefully don't cancel that at one point. But
I feel like even during COVID that they were going to cancel it, but they somehow did it anyway.
Well, and they have 2 parades here. They have the one in the north side where they dye the river. Then they have the south side Irish parade.
Which is better?
I like the south side. It gets rowdy.
I don't know too many. I'm from Milwaukee. So I know there's, right over by the Wisconsin Avenue Marquette area, plus my brother-in-law's he came from Ireland, he moved here, and they have, when it comes to Irish tradition, I've experienced some St. Patrick's Day, although Guinness and Jameson, but it's always more towards the beer. With a lot of times when you're in the bars, not as much as the whiskey, but I think it just depends on what bar you're going to, right?
But And it also depends if you were drinking the Irish whiskey starting on Friday, the day after would be Saturday, would be the survivor party, not Monday.
Unless you go all the way till Sunday and then you're still surviving on Monday.
Yeah.
Nobody survived in 3 days like that.
Just so you know, CT, I'm sorry, but the party starts on Friday and ends on Sunday. I mean, you might jump out, but there's a lot of people that won't be.
I can tell you this, I won't be drinking too many Guinness. I'll be drinking Irish whiskey is what I'll be drinking plenty of.
Well,
So I
yeah.
have a special beer for you guys when you guys do come down here, though. Because a big beer company down here does a thing where they have Weller rested beer that's a 15.6% stout that's rested for 12 months in Weller barrels. So I'll be going on Friday to pick up that bottle for us to do a video or on a live on Sunday. So I think that'll be super fun.
Matt, did you say that's only 15.6? I mean, I just feel like, are they even trying?
That's honestly, that's what most of the beers are that I drink. So I feel like that's right up my alley.
I mean,
I just gotta hope
you know,
guys are gonna keep
CT,
with me. I don't feel like Bill.
it's CT. It's 20 ounces of 15 points. It's not 2 ounces of
They are.
100. It's,
Look like this.
I mean, there's
They
got to
dip them in wax. They're really cool.
yeah.
Hey, I've seen your posts on it, and I wish I could have came up for the one, but yeah, they've got some good stuff. So I'm anxious to try it.
I'm really hoping one day we can go down there and all do a live at Masthead and do some of the stout beers that I like to drink. I feel like you guys would love it down there.
Now,
I have some
Stacey,
friends who make that happen.
Stacey, do you like any particular stout, or are you a Guinness fan, or what's your go-to on?
I like Guinness, but I'm Murphy's girl. I like Murphy's.
There you go.
Okay.
You can't complain about that. All right. So we all have our bottles on lined up tonight. And one of the things as far as what I want to do is I do want to cover a little bit of in midway through, we'll do something about if you're not an Irish whiskey fan, what you can drink as far as bourbon and stay in the Irish tradition. So we've got a couple that kind of covered, but at the same time, what are we drinking? What are we picking to drink tonight as far as Irish whiskey that came from the whole Ohio experience? So CT, what do you got there that you're drinking tonight that you're excited to?
All of them? Hey, I don't know what ones. Stacey, do you have the Black Beak?
I do. The maple? Yeah.
Okay, you have the maple, but
I
I
do.
think the Citrus Galaxy, the IPA, do you have that one?
No.
Okay, so why don't we start there? Because I feel like, it's a nice starting point with either one of those, whatever we have. Which of those two, I'm picking the maple, so I'm going to go there. So tell us, you probably know a little more about Black Peak. I met the gentleman at both events. So this bottle does not do it justice until you see it in person. The embossed glass on the bottom, the black top, this is a cool bottle, and it's $32.99. I mean, so in the realm of bourbon, which obviously we deal with a lot, most times when you get a finished bourbon, there's not too many finishes that you're getting at $32. It's $49, $59, $69 and up. I was shocked by this. I don't think Matt's had this. I don't know if Jeff's had this one. But tell us more about Black Beak while I pour it.
It's really, really good. So Black Beak over in Ireland is known as Blacks of Kinsale. Same company. They started a brewery over in Ireland, and then they kind of transitioned over to whiskey. And this is a blend, one of the two releases they have here. It is gorgeous. There's not a lot of finished Irish you can get for $32. And it's a real banger of a whiskey.
And this is not, and just to clarify for people listening, watching, this is not like they took a barrel of Irish whiskey and just threw maple syrup in it. It's actually a maple cask.
Yes.
That they finished it. Yes.
So,
Which Irish whiskey itself really lends well to finishing. It really is kind of a blank canvas.
Oh,
I would.
it's amazing. It's amazing how that maple jumps off different than it does in bourbon, because it doesn't jump off in a sweetness. It's different. It's a maple, like I don't know how to say it. It's like savory, if that makes sense. Like you taste more of a darker maple than just the sweet note of, oh, it tastes really sweet, like bourbon can make it taste.
I get some nice woody notes on that one too.
So that's not something that's sold out, right? That's something that you go to your local liquor store in the Irish whiskey, it's going to be there. So everybody, that is one thing that is kind of cool. Although at the show there was a couple of the different companies had a couple bottles that went quick that are no longer available. But for the overall, I knew that would happen. I think that the state of Ohio probably doubled the space that in liquor store that the Irish whiskeys are taking up in the store. I mean, it's just like, it was amazing how much. There were 3 end caps. I mean, full, complete, plus stuff around. And that's not even to talk about the, like, for instance, the Middleton and what they did, as far as not that they didn't participate directly in the barrel picks, but what they brought over was a good and shipped over to to the state of Ohio was a really good amount of their higher end whiskeys, right? Talk about that a little bit, Stacey.
Yeah, they really stocked up for these events. I know they sold out of a lot of things because it was a really unique opportunity to get a Middleton product that you could get signed by Kevin O'Gorman of Middleton. I mean, the man makes everything that comes out of Middleton. Very, very nice gentleman. Kevin will sit there and talk your ear off. He's such a nice man. But it's such a unique opportunity to be able to have that, to try those. And I know they stocked up. Speak of the devil, and you did get one.
Yes, I did.
My husband tried to get me a Redbreast 27, another bottle, and they had sold out of them at Chateau. They went through, like, I think case and a half, 2 cases of them.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they had the Redbreast cask strength. They had pretty much the full line straight across.
Redbreast 27, Middleton Very Rare, Middleton Very Crockett. Yeah, they went through all of them.
And then then they started tasting Jameson 15.
18.
Oh, the 18, the Jameson.
Yes,
18,
yeah.
They had the Bow Street, they had the Jameson 18. Yeah.
I mean, and then go ahead, CT.
You talk about like bottles that would relate to a bourbon drinker, and we even talked about this at the podcast at Burns with Martin, that this bottle of Buah, that's the white label, really works well for a bourbon drinker. I would say the same for that Jameson 18. It has it's a softer notes. It's very sweet. It's reminiscent of a bourbon because it has those sweeter profiles. And I was really amazed. I mean, I like both of the Middleton products. I tried both of those. But that Jameson 18 was so different than what we're accustomed to with Jameson.
It really does. It beefs up the vanilla. You get a lot of vanilla notes and the spice on that Jameson 18, especially since they've upped the ABV. It used to be 40%, now it's 46. And just that little bit of an increase in ABV,
yeah,
it made a world of difference. You get a little more spice with the vanilla now.
And that's a bottle that is sitting on the shelves in Ohio right now. I've seen it. It's $174, and I know that's probably, people look at it and they're like, it's a $174 bottle of Jameson. I am going to tell you that if you bought anything that was over $100 in an Irish whiskey, that's a freaking go-to bottle. It would be hard not to drink it all.
Yeah, that's a good bottle.
So, Matt, what do you got there that you picked up? Do you pick something up from the barrel?
One that we have here is the Blackbeak Citrus Galaxy IPA cask.
Oh, so did you open that yet?
We have opened this. I shot the video 2 days ago, I want to say. And that one will be coming here soon in March. But yeah, this is a solid bottle too. It almost has like a barley-ish kick to it that I kind of got, where we do beer nights all the time. So every other week we do beer nights and then whiskey share nights. So this was one where I knew my buddies that like beer that don't like whiskey would like this, and they have liked it, which is kind of weird. So this is one of those bottles that can welcome you in that you didn't even know you would like.
Excellent. So
But we also have one that will be shooting soon too.
And I said the price point wrong on this. I'm sorry if anybody's watching. $34. It's $34.98 or 93. It's not 32, but still, as Stacey said, for a finished anything for that price point, and I'm not kidding, they're both great bottles to have in your collection, whether you drink bourbon, whiskey, or whatever.
So Matt, that's right in your wheelhouse too, right? You think it combined that beer taste with the whiskey taste that really kind of, it's a different type of experience. I think Irish whiskey with the malt grain that is used, and then mixing that with the beer, you're more into those beer notes than you would be, and those stouts than bourbon, where bourbon kind of changes it because you got the sweeter caramel notes. Do you think? I just think it, as Stacey said, when you're finishing, the Irish whiskey is a blank palate. But not only is it a blank palate, there's not a lot of up until recently of a lot of finishing that ever went on. Right? It wasn't a big thing. It's just for a long time it was pretty much straightforward. And I thought it was unique when Jameson started coming out and finishing. That initial release was the coffee stout, I think it was, and then the black
Jameson
barrel
stout,
yeah. And when those came out, that was it was strange. It wasn't something that was normally done, and I think people received it well. But I also think what we got to see in the Ohio, with this Ohio release, is some really good stuff. And unlike bourbon, when Ohio does a release, if we're talking about a whole nother week and 3 days or 2 days away from those releases, there's usually it's not sitting on the shelf. But they had a lot of it, and it's great. And with St. Patrick's Day coming up, I think anybody watching this or that likes Irish whiskey in the Ohio area should definitely visit their liquor store, because they're going to be surprised. I mean, I know that for a long time it was easy to keep track of what was being released, because you'd walk into the liquor store here and there was Teeling and there was Jameson, and there was it was Bushmills.
Okay.
Now, was the people who do Bushmills, were they part of this, or they weren't at all?
No, because this is organized by Bord Bia, and Bord Bia is Republic of Ireland, and Bushmills is in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
So okay. I have a feeling that might, you never know, that might change next year.
Yeah, it's not like Bushmills doesn't make great Irish whiskey, because
they absolutely do.
Oh yeah, that's where I became surprised at how good Irish whiskey could be aged and at such a reasonable price compared to bourbon. You're just like, that, and that costs that, kind of thing. So anyways, all right. So myself, I don't know what is going. Oh, I must have. No, I don't have it. It's just something weird's happening. All right, so this is what I'm going to go with tonight, and you could talk about this. I have not even tried it, CT. All CT did was talk about how he had tried it and how good it was. And then we were talking about it, and I was watching it, and I'm like, I got to get it. And the price point, what was the price point on this, CT? On the
first? $64.95 for a 15-year-old.
Right. And so now you're getting into a little bit of age, and that's one of the things that I believe single malts and Irish whiskey and scotches, when you get into those higher ages, where they do really well, because a lot of times, most of the time, they're being aged in used barrels, and that allows for, I find, when it comes to when you're putting age on a whiskey, it allows for a lot subtler, slower changes that go on, because a lot of that upfront oak, and if it's charred or whatever, that's been used, and then you're adding in a little bit of the whiskey from the last barrel, but it just doesn't seem, it seems softer overall. And you know, it shows by a 15-year, and that's a pretty light.
Well, this is a single grain Irish whiskey.
Right,
too.
right.
Single grains tend to be a little lighter in color.
Okay.
You're talking corn, wheat, oats, rye. This is I'm having the same one. This is for Cullen 15-year single grain. For Cullen's owned by Powers Court Distillery. This one is unique that it's finished in Madeira.
Okay.
So the notes on this are just amazing. I actually did a video of this, a review a few days ago.
And Madeira wine, we've talked about this in the bourbon world, because Macaulay from Dark Arts, a lot of these guys are finishing bourbons in Madeira because it is a very strong wine. Like Macaulay, we took a Madeira barrel back to the brewery, and Macaulay's like, I'm just telling you, or I think it was actually a meme from Old Louisville, said, don't let it sit in there more than a couple of weeks before you try it, because it's so strong, it'll take over.
Blue Spot is also finished in Madeira.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to have something to hold up. Now, I don't know how long this was finished, but the Madeira notes come through really well. You still get the grain coming through as well.
This is so good for $64.
You're not going to get a 15-year-old Irish whiskey for $64.
No, this thing is crazy. It's the sweet vanilla notes that come out of it are just wow.
So I saw the price on this. I actually got a hold of OHLQ because I was sure it was wrong.
Yeah, it's like you said, the Madeira's there. It gives it a little complexity to it, but man, it's just got that nice smooth vanilla note that's going. I mean, it's great.
So you name the distillery. Say the distillery.
It's Powers Court Distillery, and it's in County Wicklow.
Okay, so did they do any brands that had a barrel pick, or was it just the?
It did not.
Okay.
Although this is only the second bottle for Cullen that Ohio has seen. They released their kind of budget blend for Cullen Falls last year, and it's a pretty good bottle too. It's a blend of single grain and single malt. It's like a 50-50 blend.
Okay.
And I think that is on the OHLQ website. You can get that.
You can get that anytime. Yeah.
The 15 and the 21 year were the two that they brought. And my thing was that the 21 year was good, but this one was the one that kind of shocked me of what they had.
Same. Yeah.
Well, it very, I think if someone was honestly, if you're a wine drinker, the white wine aspect of it comes through, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. The sweetness is different. The mixture of the white wine sweetness along with the sweetness of the whiskey, it doesn't taste the way that it doesn't. It has the overall feel and taste isn't. What would you say? That hasn't taken over. The wine hasn't taken over, but the Irish whiskey aspect is kind of left a little bit. You know what I mean? It just has an overall what would you say? It's replaced with like a sweetness that's different than usual Irish whiskey sweetness. And so I think that I agree. That's really kind of something special and pleasant.
It's a really great bottle for the price. It really is. It's got some really nice notes. You get honey and vanilla and almonds, and I get milk chocolate on this one.
I think this will be one of those that, and we talked about it at the event with the distillers, is that this might be a tough one to replicate again, because that is going to be hard to match for what it is. And again, this isn't a single barrel. This is not something that OHLQ went and said, hey, we want a single barrel pick. Correct. This is just, we're coming out with a 15-year stated whiskey, which means this is the youngest thing in this bottle is 15 years. It could have a 20, 25 year. You don't know.
Yeah, and this is sourced, but they are producing their own whiskey. But this is just, it's such a nice bottle. Cullen's kind of known for their single malts. They have a lot of older Cooley single malts, but this single grain, it really surprised me.
Hey, the boss is watching, by the way, so we got to be careful. Ann's watching, so We got to watch our P's and Q's if we say anything wrong.
Well, the most I think the hardest part of the whole event was the combination between I'm used to a single barrel Saturday or whatever, where the single barrels are what is the star of the show. That's all there is. It's not like, there's a lot of other whiskeys that have been released with it from the distilleries. It's kind of like the single barrels are there. You know what you're kind of getting. We're here. At first, it was very confusing to figure out because there was so many choices that were there, and to try and find what you wanted, because, when you're a bourbon hunter, you kind of know what you go in wanting. And I kind of knew what I probably wanted, but I wasn't sure if it was the single barrel or so that was very confusing at the start. But at the same time, now, as it's gone further down the line, what's awesome about it is, although there was so many releases in it, you had this, what would you say, a false sense of having to get it right away because you're so used to doing that with whiskey. And then when everything cleared and you go to the liquor store today, and you've kind of researched some of it, you didn't miss out on very much at all, right? I mean, a lot of it's still there.
Yeah, some of the amounts were lower of some of the barrels. I think one of the JJ Corey's, they only had 120 bottles for the state. I think the Malt Muscatel from the Liberator, that wasn't an Ohio pick, but that was actually a barrel that Morris O'Connell himself from Wayward Irish picked for the state of Ohio. So that one didn't have as big of a yield. The Lakeview Estate didn't. The Whistler Tequila, I know the yield was lower on those. But there's a ton that you can go out to the store and they'll still be on the shelves. And that is so great for us Irish whiskey drinkers in Ohio.
Anne says that's the issue. We gave you too many choices. And we're not upset about that because, unfortunately, I bought too many choices. Not unfortunately, fortunately. But you say that about tequila because the Whistler, we started off just before Valentine's Day with the PX Sherry I Love You, which I thought the Ohio did a great job of bringing that, like, hey, here's a special bottle. It was $74.99, I believe, for a PX Sherry finished.
For a cask.
And it was so good. And then you get to the event and you're like, wait a minute, there's more? They picked more. So there's the tequila barrel. There's my favorite, which was the Barbados rum.
Oh, that rum was good.
That
rum's so good.
That rum was that was next. That was different. But they did some really cool stuff. The rum one?
Yeah.
That's PX Cherry I Love You. I'm not bringing that one. This is the rum. And it just works. It just works so well. So it was neat to see all the variant that, especially with the Whistler. So Stacey, a little more about that product. So tell us what you know of the Whistler, because I don't know much about them other than I tried it and holy crap, it's good.
The Whistler's pretty neat. They have a lot of variety. They're made by Bohan Distillery in Ireland. Bohan's kind of known for having a lot of historic mash bills. They're releasing their own distillate. They've had, I think, 3 releases. But they've also got kind of a historic record of all these historic mash bills. They're actually also doing an experiment with Talnua Distillery in Colorado, where they used one of those mash bills, and both distilleries distilled it, and they're keeping some barrels in Colorado, some in Ireland, and then they're going to see how the climate changes each of the whiskey in each location.
The terroir.
And I know the Angel share was much more in Colorado, so they actually had to fill, I think, like 2 or 3 additional barrels. It was crazy.
I believe that, yeah, because of the high altitude, and people don't understand, and then it's dry. I mean, there's no doubt about it out there. The humidity is a thing out west. I mean, the best place to not age a barrel is Las Vegas.
So since Anne's watching, I'm going to tell her my favorite part of the Whistler bottles, and anybody who got one will know it. And they're like, "What is that?" I like the fly strip that's attached to the bottom of the bottle. That's my favorite part. See the fly strip?
Yeah, that was on mine too.
The fly strip is really cool because it's an ingenious idea, because when the bottle's in the box, it doesn't spin around, so you can't see what it says. So they put a fly strip on the bottom, so it is always facing forward. I love it. Genius.
The Whistler is
Also-
one of those cask strength bottles. I mean, there's not a bad one.
But that's not
Oh.
that's not what it was for, CT. You fold that up and you can make a whistle out of that.
I'm not even gonna try because I'm gonna get stuck to the damn thing. He's tricking me, Matt. He's trying to
That's
trick
great television. You should try that.
me. Don't think I won't.
Out of the cereal bowl. Some of this into it.
It's the next cereal challenge right there.
So
This Barbados though, oh my.
is that the Whistler?
You have the Barbados?
The Whistler one?
Does anybody else have this, or am I drinking?
Yeah,
by myself?
that's what I got. You know me and rum finish. It's rum finished and I'm in. I mean, I
can't
love
handle rum.
what? Who said Matt?
I said you can't handle rum, and you've got like defensive.
I didn't hear where it was coming from. I thought Matt was ripping on me.
No, that was Chris.
That's
to be
okay.
honest, though, I don't think you can go wrong with rum casking any of the Irish whiskeys. I think that just makes it like that much better. So I gotta try that one. If you guys want to bring that down Sunday, I wouldn't be mad.
We're bringing shit. That's for sure. We'll bring.
It's really
some.
good. I had several friends in from out of state that swore they were trying not to spend money, and they all walked out with one of those rum bottles of Whistler.
I actually thought the tequila was really good. I'm not as big of a fan of tequila finish, but the distiller, he was actually there, right? The actual, I don't remember his name. Do you have it offhand, Stacey?
Oh, I don't remember.
I know. Anyways, but I have his card, and he wants to do a podcast. And honestly, I tasted that, the tequila, and then they ran out on that, and then it went to the rum, and then I tried that, and I'm like, if I was really rich, I would have bought both, but I went with the rum. So I mean, there's only so much. I mean,
And I think there's a heated barrel. Is that the other one? And there's maybe another sherry one.
They have one. I think Ohio's getting it. They have one that's called the Good, the Bad, and the Smoky. And that's it's very heavily peated. It's very good.
I haven't seen that one out. But this one, it's funny because this plays into the maple cask of the Black Beak, that you get a little sweeter profile, and very approachable though.
Yeah, it doesn't drink its proof at all.
No, because so that's another thing, is what are we done in proof? Because I think in Black Beak we're 86 proof.
Yeah, it's 40. Is it 43? I thought it was 43%.
It's 40. It's 43, so it's 86 proof. So the Whistler, we're going up though.
Yeah, I think that's 61.
on the Whistler,
I think it's 61% or 56%.
I'm not gonna lie.
61.34.
The glues, the fly trap is holding it to where I can't see that part.
61.34 ABV.
61.34.
Yeah, so 122.68.
It's just a small jump up in proof there.
Yeah, no, but
But
this
For
it doesn't.
Irish whiskey.
Irish
see
whiskey does not
It's a
drink
lot.
barrel strength at all. As far as the warmth that it gives you is so much different than when you're drinking 120 proof bourbon. I mean, there's one thing that I always find that Irish whiskey completely lacks is any kind of pepper. There's not really, when you're drinking it and it's high, there's not pepper involved unless there's a finish on it that might add it. But overall, that there's an aspect of it. Now there's a warmth to it. I'm not saying that I get a warmth, but the back of it happens like from within your chest area, the back of your throat, or in your mouth. You just don't get that pepper spice off of Irish whiskey like you do, and that's where I always find, and that it being so dangerous is the fact that its drinkability is its proof is, or its what would you say, strength is masked by its drinkability. So a lot of times you can really drink a lot of Irish whiskey, and all of a sudden it can, where with bourbons, or even sometimes, I mean, if you get into a heavily peated Scotch, just that their drinkability isn't the same as it is with Irish whiskey. It just doesn't go down. It's sipping. Even this 120 proof with the finish is, you could just drink it. It's not like you have to sip it, and that's one of the things. That's one of the dangers of, in my opinion, of Irish whiskey. You know, it's just you can consume a lot.
Well, and I think part of that is the thing I love about Irish whiskey's uniqueness, that it can be finished in any cask that's held at another kind of alcohol. Well, you can make Irish whiskey, you can finish it in it. So it just opens the door for so much variety. And there's a lot of cask strength Irish out there, but we haven't seen it here until OHLQ brought it to us. So now we're just finally seeing all these cask strength offerings that we've been asking for, which is brilliant, because Irish whiskey at cask strength does really sound special.
I agree. Most whiskey at cask strength, but like you said, forever 80 proof has been Irish whiskey and Scotch. That's what they did. When you start getting in, like you said, you start getting into cask strengths for Irish whiskey, the price jump can't quite be there that you can get with bourbon, because of the fact that bourbon people, and the price jump is all, you know, when you're drinking a cask strength, you're paying for that, and that's kind of evolved. Whereas, you know, Irish whiskey, you can get some really good stuff, and it's still in the $25-$30 range, but it's always been 80 proof. That's why, because, you know, when you have something 80 proof, you can make a lot more of the liquid. But then now that they're going to the cask strengths, they just can't jump you up to, you know, they gotta gradually take you up there.
A lot of that is also because of the people producing the 80 proof $25-$30 bottles. Those are all Middleton,
right?
And Powers, Jameson, those were Irish distillers. Then Bushmills, which is another major brand, Tullamore Dew, which is a major brand, Teeling. So now we're getting all of these independent Irish distillers. We're getting the whiskey bonders like J.J. Corey, like W. O'Connell. So they're able to offer, I think, a better buy for Irish whiskey, because you can get a good whiskey, a higher proof, for a very good price.
And
so to compare that, because you're right, Stacey, because the price point of Teeling's barrel proof, which this was one of my favorite bottles that I drank. Now, it may not be everybody's, but this virgin oak was delicious. But you're also at $100 price point for this bottle, and most of the Whistler bottles were $69 to $74.99. So again, it depends on the person and what they want to pay. Kind of the same thing.
On the type too, because is a Teeling a single pot still?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it is a single malt.
It's a single malt.
I thought yours wasn't. You didn't.
I think the Whistlers are blends.
I must have got the okay. So
it just says single cask on the Whistler.
Yeah, I think those are blends. That also has a little bit to do with it, but a lot of it is that the smaller distilleries, you're getting more for your money.
Sure. Yeah, they're trying to make their name, but
I mean, it's funny, because Irish whiskey has been around for so long. It's and then like I find that in America, I really think the popularity of Jameson, a lot of people who come from Ireland and then come here, it's one of the reasons why Guinness and Jameson, that's like home for them. And when talking to Anne, 52%, like normally it's 70-30 liquor store to bar kind of purchases for bourbon, but it's almost 50-50, more like, 52-48 or whatever liquor store purchase to, bar purchase for Irish whiskey. So a lot of the Irish Americans and St. Patrick's Day sales are based off that. And if anybody's ever been in an Irish bar, the people from Ireland are in there, and that's where they all meet. That's kind of like what you do in Ireland. You go to the corner pub, and they've all established that across the United States. And one of the things I think when that's happening, knowing the people I know that came over here and I spent time with that were in my family, they really feel that Guinness and Jameson were their home away from home. That's one of the things that so this is kind of changing it a little bit. Like, it's hard to get people away from, overall, but I think that this is the start of it. And the fact that I really love the fact that Ohio did this, because it's historic, right? It's kind of like if you wanted to go back in 100 years and what changed the way Irish whiskey was distributed in the United States, this could be the event that did it, where they introduced so many barrel and it was so successful. Like, I mean, did Ohio really have that knowledge that it was going to be quite this successful? I don't think so. But at the same time, they did the legwork and the promotion to make it successful like this. And it's really kind of a cool thing.
I knew it was going to be popular. I have a lot of Irish whiskey friends, and we've been clamoring for more, because you're right. It has been a bit, we've had a lot of Irish whiskey. It's been all the big names, but people like me have bought it all. So we were excited. You guys got, new bourbon releases like every week. And sometimes it'd be 6 months before, we got another bottle. And now we're just being inundated with it. And I do think this is going to be historic. I think what's going to happen, you're going to see other states emulating what Ohio has done.
Yeah, and I hope so, because like I just remember the show Boardwalk Empire during Prohibition. They went over to Ireland, and there was a lot of he wanted to bring back Irish whiskey directly to New Jersey, and he went there and kind of set things up. And it was unique when he went over there, because not a lot of people had gone over there directly, and he was dealing with the different distilleries, and there was a lot of people on board, but one person running everything. And when that one person, before he left, was because he was there, they rose up against that one person and killed him. And then the Irish whiskey started flowing. And it's somewhat made up history, but it's similar. It was historically kind of inaccurate. But
there is some truth to it, though, because American Prohibition did hurt the Irish whiskey industry pretty substantially.
Right. And but he was able to get once they were able to all group together and get it distributing again, then it just led to what further down the line. But it's the same thing in Ohio. It's just like, there's never been a state over there. They didn't even know what to do. And when they found out what they were doing, I think some places found out a little late, but then Ohio was so welcoming, they just welcomed everybody in. And all of a sudden they had this giant event with so many whiskeys. And I think it opened up a lot of people who drink bourbon because of the way it was done. You got some people who normally aren't drinking, Irish whiskey to try it. And, you can't say, Irish. Some people could say it's not for me, but overall, if you like whiskey, Irish whiskey, is something that you really can get into. And I really think they kind of were successful in doing what they did.
They nailed it on every front. This was a perfect opportunity for bourbon drinkers to be able to experience a lot of different Irish whiskeys.
Well, then they bring the bourbon whiskey critic of all, Fred Minnick, for all 3 days, and that pretty much pulled out a lot of people. And the event, the tasting event, was fantastic. You got to taste it, go around what you want and taste it. Hey, Matt, What did you like when you were tasting? What was the one that what did you find that you liked when you were tasting? Because you're definitely a whiskey, beer, complete liquor podcast.
So I just want to point out that I got there an hour after it started because I mean, the morning that I had. I didn't get to go through all 12 places. So I basically hit 4 places on the bottom, went up top and hit, I think, 3 or 4 places. So I didn't even get to go to all 12 booths. I'll definitely be doing that next year. I'll get there early and I'll be able to do that hopefully, unless circumstances are like this year. But my favorite one was, I think, the Buo was really good. And then I went to the Matterjack was really good too. And obviously this was the one that caught my eye where I was like, we have to have this. The Black Beak was like fantastic as well. They kind of stood out. And again, I didn't get to try every single one of them. I think I caught Whistler too, didn't we? Again. And that one was really good. Yeah, the Matterjack Full Proof was like, that was the bottle that we finished on. I think that was like one of the best ones I had too. And they had to stop serving at 2:00 like that on the dot. So yeah, I was like, man, I got here super late. Like that'd be cool if I could go around and try them all. But,
And Ann is sending a message with question marks. Next year?
Well,
Yeah,
I know we're going to end up doing it next year because the turnout for this year was so great. So I'm assuming that it's coming next year and they're going to do the same thing again. This was bigger than the single barrel Saturday because there was probably 400 people at the store that I go to waiting in line. Well, and let me just tell you that this was like blew that out the water.
There was 800 people up in Cleveland. That was a lot of people up there. And then in Columbus, they weren't waiting, but Columbus knows how to do it. They just showed up gradually and evenly.
There was a lot of intermingling. So like it was crowded as crap, but people were not just waiting in line for a bottle, which was kind of nice. And I guess there's people that wait in line for a bottle on a whatever day, but this was different. It was people like trying it, talking about it, meeting the people that are from the industry. That was pretty significant compared to what we normally get.
That was I love that the most, just meeting the people behind the brands. Because some of the people like Morris O'Connell and Louise McGuan, I've talked to them.
Morris is like, wait a second. Yeah, Morris is like, wait a second, let me grab this bottle back here. Have you had
the Lakeview? Yeah.
Yeah.
That bottle was delicious.
What was
and then everybody that came up after us was like, what was that bottle? And Morris is like, nothing.
What Waterford? Was that the other one that was pretty, the one where they had all, right? That was the brand Waterford?
Waterford really surprised me.
Oh man,
Waterford has gone to a whole nother level on their bottles and their terroirs and knowing where stuff is cultivated from, what field, what time of year, what was the precipitation level at the time. And Ned is so cool to talk to, but I think I said it before. That guy would get me in trouble if I met him at a bar because he is literally like, you have to drink it.
Oh, Neil Conway.
Yeah, yeah. He
definitely
he wanted to come on, and he talked about that special release they had. I mean, they had all the separate different ones from the different. I mean, they have different farms and everything. But then he's like, he starts showing you what the 25 different barrels that came from used barrels, and every single one was there, and there was like literally hundreds and hundreds of different things that were happening with that they knew about, and their transparency was on a level of, it was like unseen before, right? And then they got a website that you can just go and spend hours and hours and hours. So
yeah, the back of the bottle has a QR code that you can scan and find out what time of year, where it came from, everything about when the grain was harvested to produce your bottle.
Yeah. You can get on the single origin, you can actually get the name of the farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jed.
and they're doing test after test on the terroir. They just want to know what the flavors and everything and where it comes from. That would make it hard to be a blender there. That's just like it's like what that you got to know all the different farms. I mean, they got all the places on the map and everything. So that was definitely an interesting brand, but at the same time, that bottle that they had was spectacular. I mean,
It's very
that coffee was
the coffee, yeah, the cuvee coffee.
It's just
so good.
They could have named it like 1,000 different things. It's just
in the Fennis Court was really, really good.
Yeah,
the peated one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I drank the peated one at the first event, and I was shocked. I had no idea that would be like I'm expecting. Like typical peated Scotch, and Ned explained to me like this is a Highland. It's gonna be pretty good, and it was really good.
All right, so we're getting a little bit long, so I guess let's finish up what we thought overall. Give our final thoughts, and then Stacey, just finish up just on the outgoing Jameson, and Middleton, and all, go over the different brands that they have, because and then they also contract distill for a lot of people, So was it always when they were Jameson and then they started Redbreast? How did they evolve to where they are today? You know what I mean? With all or were they always like that, but just not like that in the States?
They haven't always been like that. I mean, historically, they've always had a large distillery, and it's Irish Distillers, and under their umbrella is Middleton brand, the Powers brand, the Redbreast brand, and the Spot lineup. They also own Napo Castle now. So they've got a couple smaller brands as well, and they do contract distilling. When the Irish distilleries started all shuttering, they got together and kind of banded together, and so for a long time, all you had was Bushmills in the north and Middleton in the south. And by getting together and really doing that, they actually saved the Irish whiskey industry and got it to where people could start all these independent brands again. They make a huge amount. I think last year Jameson had 15 billion cases sold worldwide. It's ungodly the amount of Jameson that we're all drinking.
Yeah,
but they have a lot of huge brands. They're always evolving. They actually just announced today they just released another Gold Spot, 13 year this time. So that's going to be coming to the States. Yeah, they're always doing new stuff. They just redid their distillery experience there. It's amazing experience now.
All right, so Matt, we're going to be coming up to see you on the actual St. Patrick's Day. Everybody, look for us live. Look for Matt live. I'm sure we're going to be doing a live with you for Cleveland on the Rocks, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to set that up, and we'll get the times together. Depending on what time you guys get here, what time you want. You're live to be, I'll set mine in the middle there.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
And then just leave liquor 43 out of it.
Actually, that's going to wash our glasses out. Chris and I had a conversation about this, and I feel like that's going to work really well.
I'm bringing the ice cream. You bring the chocolate liqueur 43.
Ain't happening.
I got it. But we also have some kind of sparkling bottle that I was told we have to do with you too. So really looking forward to that one. I guess going down.
Oh my God. You drank that already, right?
Actually, I got a whole nother bottle just to have here for you.
Oh,
so
there you
I
go.
have friends in Mexico City that have some really, really cool stuff. I have a snake one coming too very soon. So mezcal with the poisonous snake in it, I feel it's like that's the next big thing.
Yeah, the last guy died, so I'm guessing not.
Well, You're not supposed to bite the snake. You just gotta leave it in there and drink it. But you can't let it sit for over like 6 weeks, from what I understand, when it goes below the snake. So you kind of just gotta do your research a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna take it to another level, and I'm gonna bring black absinthe, so that'll take it to the next level.
The whole time you guys are talking, the whole time you're talking, Stacey's like, "This is why I drink Irish whiskey, because they don't put stupid shit."
No, I'm just actually amazed there's anything worse than Malort.
Oh, there isn't. No, nothing's worse than a Malort. That's by far. Oh my God. Anyways, all right, CT. I mean, overall, I think tonight worked out really well. Everybody, thanks for joining us. This is our St. Patrick's Day podcast. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, CT.
Thank you.
Real quick, before you close out,
Mhm.
quick plug for Burns, because we didn't talk much about Bua, but we did a podcast there live just a little over a week ago. So this weekend, obviously St. Patty's Day coming up, they have these barrel picks at the bar. You can try it, get a pour of them, whatever you want to do. You can't buy the bottle there, but you can drink the bottle. So check out Burns. It's right in Columbus. It's a fun place. I think that Pat's owned it for 30 years. I think that's what he said. He lives around the corner from it. I mean, if you're looking for an authentic Irish pub type atmosphere that's just full of good people, I think that's probably the place.
I'm sure Pat appreciates you plugging him for St. Patrick's Day so he can get more people in. It's just there.
Yeah. So right now he's trying to figure out what Tuesday's going to be called. So what was Monday?
The Survivors Party.
So Tuesday is just completely fucking obliterated, have no sense day.
You know, I'm just a couple years away from just participating in it at all. All right, everybody. We're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, the Irish Scotchy Bourbon Boys tonight. Thanks for joining us for the St. Patrick's Day podcast. www.Scotchy Bourbon Boys for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Glencairns, t-shirts. We've got it all there. And then also, remember, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, along with your favorite podcast formats, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart. Ask Siri, Alexa to play us. We're there. And then also remember to leave, listen, leave good feedback, subscribe. We also have YouTube memberships now. Check out our Patreon too, because we just upgraded that. And then remember, good bourbon equals good friends and good times. Don't drink and drive. Live your life responsibly and live dangerously. All right, everybody. Normally I say little Steve-O's going to take us out, but for tonight, he's not queued up. So we're going to get out of here right now. I probably can just do the Scotchy Bourbon Boy intro again. So let's get that queued up.
You want me to sing?
Along. Here we
You could
go.
sing. Now I want you to.
No, it's not happening. I was just kidding. This is like a shot take. You bit and I just drove the lane.
Thanks, Kenny Fuller.
Drinking bourbon, sipping
Thanks,
on
guys.
scotch. We did a little while, but it sure was fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, it's all sunshine, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to have fun, and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun.
There you go.
We're out.
That's Mr. Mike.
All right,
That's
but
right.
we're still live Facebook. You guys want to stay around a little bit for Facebook and YouTube, or are you got to go, Stacey?
Oh, I'm good.
Mark, why don't you join us?
You out, Matt?
No.
Matt's gone.
We'll join you. I have Mark just came down here. I want him to come join with us because he was trying all the Irish whiskeys and you guys didn't get to see him. So
You don't need to see me.
Who are you talking to, Matt? It looks like you're talking to God. You're like looking up. Who are you talking to?
all right. So my teleprompter's up here and the camera that you're on is here. So I'm trying to look to. I feel like I need to look at you when I'm talking. I don't. I'm
I'm a Harry Potter guy. I'm bigger than Hagrid. So I'm like, I don't.
Get up here, Mark. Come on, come on here. You're gonna drink with us.
What are we drinking?
Come on.
What are we drinking?
Let me plug the microphone back in. Mark, okay.
Wait a minute.
Jump over here.
Sorry, it's screwed you up.
It's okay.
Slide in here.
You're not special.
No. Jay, it's a special. Jay is special.
You guys are
Stacey, while they're figuring that out, what time is everything starting Friday?
Oh, Friday? I don't know if they open at noon. I actually am working Friday. And then, we have the Hibernian Hall here in Columbus has a live band and they're having live music, which they do one Friday every month. They call it birthday night. I think it starts at noon, but let me check.
So are you working till noon or are you working all day?
I'm working all day, but I did take Monday and Tuesday off.
I'm not working at all. That's what
And I took last Friday off. So Friday was actually Proclamation Day in Columbus. I was at Burns Pub at morning drinking. So that's how I know they have that whiskey there because I had it at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Then we went to City Hall for the city's proclamation and we had session with the pipes and drums up to Broad and High, where we shut down one of the busiest intersections in the city of Columbus at around 11-ish in the afternoon so that we can paint shamrocks on the corners. And it's
Nice.
Or fixing that?
So what you're saying is I have to get a hold of Martin to hang out with on Friday because you're not going to be available.
yes. I'm fairly certain that Martin lives there.
I'm pretty certain that I can get Martin to hang out.
Howard Road?
Who? Which
No,
Martin?
I was thinking about going down on Saturday because Irish rugby is Saturday.
I have planned Friday as my day of, yeah.
I do open at noon on Saturday and at 11 a.m. on Sunday.
What about Friday?
That's what I'm
Which we hear
I tried early.
they had a thing yesterday too.
No, but did she give her opinion on what was better or not? Mm-hmm. Okay. You gotta go back to watch.
I missed it.
You came in the middle. So were we looking at the whole wrong direction the entire time we were doing this? Just so I can ask. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys.
Right now you're looking at the wrong direction, but normally you were looking at the camera. You were looking straight ahead. Look at the camera in front of you.
I was hoping because I kept looking at this to see when one of you guys talks, I see the thing flips, and then it's a different person in here so you can see it. But then we're really big on here. Is there a way on Zoom that I can make us small and you guys big? Something like. Because this is the first time I've ever used Zoom other than at work, and at work it just comes up really big with other people.
So usually it changes by who's talking. So if you're talking, that's the larger picture, but that's something Jeff controls.
Yeah, and when we have 4 guests, I like to have all 4 up because especially you can see what everybody's doing. And if you just do it with one, what happens is someone will be talking and then someone else just, I because I'm recording and doing YouTube and whatever, and I got to keep trying. If someone talks and then someone bumps a glass, it goes to the person bumping the glass while that person's talking. So this way, with all 4 across and people are watching, they can see what everybody's doing. So I just keep it so that it's a 4. Now, if we get a 5, that's a whole different story because everybody gets smaller.
On my screen, we're huge. And then you guys are like in the corner up here. Anytime a different person talks, I see you guys. Can I switch you to here and then
Yeah,
you be
you
the
can.
small one
And
so I can see you guys?
In the upper right-hand corner is a view. You change it for view.
That's why. Oh, see, I'm gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to hit me to this so that way I can see. But the whole time I'm looking, I'm like trying to squint at you guys in the corner. That's why I'm always looking that way.
But know, Matt, that when you were just talking and everything, it was all 4. That's not how it was recorded or put across to you, not Facebook. Facebook was just getting all 4 people.
Okay.
Okay, so we apologize then because we were under the assumption that when whoever was talking was on the screen for us, so we thought they were only visible. So we were doing little things in between, and I apologize.
Well, don't apologize. I thought it was amusing.
Every time Matt left the screen, I was like, okay, he must have to go to the bathroom. It's all good.
See, Mark walked in, and I was like, hey. So I'll talk to you for a minute over here. That way I'm not talking on here because I felt like if I talked, it would move me into the place of you guys. But you guys are talking, so I was trying to go talk over there to not be rude over.
I just hit my 55th birthday, so I'm sorry. I'm a little technology challenge here.
He was trying to get on the line all the time. So I was trying to show him how. I'm like, look, you just got to click on me, go to the thing. And
there's no clicking on me when you're 55. It just tells me.
I usually just have a touchable link. You can tap my text and it comes up.
I'm lucky if I can search the channels and get to the right movie I want.
Hey, you built a really cool
Burns
ride.
opens at 11 on Friday.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to come down and see Burns. So you go to Burns all the time then?
Behind generation.
Yeah, I know Pat Byrne.
We met him down at the thing. They seem super nice. I'm like, you guys are so far though. I'd have to get a hotel right next to you because I feel like I'm not going to try anywhere.
There's a
There are hotels right down the street, right near the liquor store that sells Burns or their boo.
I feel like they set that up on purpose. Like, come here, get drunk with us in Columbus, go to the liquor store, go back to your hotel room, come back in the morning, and then drive home.
I'm just going to tell you, you ain't getting to the liquor store unless you go first.
Oh, probably not.
Especially if Martin's there.
Oh, yeah.
If Martin's there, man. Oh.
If Martin's there Friday, it's an Uber day. We're just going to Uber wherever the hell we're going.
You know he's going to be there. He'll be there Friday. I would imagine.
It's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun.
Oh.
I'm going to have a whole new accent by the end of that day.
So, Stacey.
And I told you, Stacey, who he reminds me of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And does it not work? It's like
I thought about it and put their pictures side by side. And I'm like, man, yeah, it kind of does.
So, my brother-in-law coming from Ireland, Martin and my brother-in-law, they sound exactly alike, completely 100%. I was listening to it, and he pauses and puts all the stuff in how he talks and his mannerisms and everything are to the T of my brother-in-law. I'm just like, all the freight as well. And, they say there's certain things that Irish people, he's got it all. But at the same time, it's just, it's just crazy how much they sound alike. It was freaking me out. Aww.
The funny thing is talking to somebody from up around Belfast, boy, it gets real thick. The brogue is much different.
Yeah, but now Martin is been here a while, so that kind of helps.
He's made several trips.
He's my youngest son's godfather, and he can't THs, and his name is Seth. So for the longest time, he called him Seth. Because it's just how it comes out. But he learned how to say Seth. So, all right, everybody. We can end this unless anybody else has something. I mean, it's a Tuesday night, right? Oh, Stacey, what out of all the Irish whiskey you drink, what's your go-to? What do you like?
Oh,
That's a good way for it.
stuff in Ohio or just in general?
General. I mean, yeah.
I'm a big Cologne fan. I go to Cologne Rum and Raisin a lot. My second probably go-to is the Liberator Tawny.
Okay.
I love the Liberator. I've been talking to Morris since probably 2020.
So, was there anything new that came over? I mean, or did you pretty much were familiar with what came over?
All of the JJ Corey, those are so flipping good. Those are all Ohio picks, every one of them. I tell you what, that the Black Beak was another one that I was really surprised by. You know, I'd seen the brand over in Ireland. I've seen Blacks of Kinsale, and it never really jumped out at me. But that one was really good. Skellig 618 is another brand. Their small batch is another one. Drinks above its price point. It's like a small batch blend that's PX finished. That's another really good one.
Okay.
What's JJ's bottle that's like, is it the Hudson that's $44? What's their bottle that they have
JJ
out?
Corey?
Yeah.
The Hanson.
The Hanson.
That's
That
Irish,
really
that's Irish single grain. It's got like fruit, a lot of fruit notes, banana. And a lot of people know Louise McGuan because of the Kentucky Owl bottle, the St. Patrick's edition. That's who they brought in.
Oh, that's what. Okay. Although that's still on their shelves. That one was. It was a unique tasting bourbon.
Price tag, I think.
Well, yes, but you had to. But that the people appreciated at that price what the flavor was, especially since everybody was hurt that Dixon had just left. You know, it was their first thing.
If you compared it to the JJ Corey, the Gale release, you can kind of see the direction. You can see the connection because a lot of the notes are similar. That one's like juicy fruit, gum, and vanilla. It's really good. With like black, it does have a little bit of a peppery finish.
So do you like red breast?
I do like red breast.
The notes are so, what would you say? Rich in like currant and raisin and that rich warmth.
Red breast is it's indicative of Irish single pot still style whiskey. It's that shortbread cookie, those baking spices, those jammy figgy notes. It's the whiskey everybody knows. I really like some of the stuff they're doing. I wish we would have gotten the Red Breast 10-year over here. I got to try that one. That one's so good. The PX. Oh, that PX is a great bottle.
The cask.
Well, I think last year we picked up with the LaSalle.
Oh, the Red Breast.
That was great. I mean, and that was a good $69, $79 price point, I think. Does that sound right?
I think it's up to 80 now.
Yeah.
Everything's up.
That was a great bottle.
That was one of my favorites.
So
what was the banana whiskey that you were talking about? Because I feel like that would be fantastic.
Which one?
You said there was one that tasted like bananas.
Yeah, the banana.
That's the JJ Corey, the Hanson.
That sounds amazing. Can we buy that around here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's stocked right now. Yeah, they've had that one out for a year and a half.
$44, and it is like super light, sweet. I mean, it shocked me. I was not expecting that out of that bottle.
I mean, honestly, if you're a bourbon drinker and you've run out of money, you need to go to Irish whiskey for affordability.
Right.
Irish whiskey does seem to cost a lot less than bourbon does. So, I mean, that's a nice attraction to it.
It used to be that way, but you guys are getting with your bourbon prices.
Yeah,
It ain't pricey anymore.
you get a 10-year bourbon, and you're like, man, you're paying $100, $150 for it, and then you go to like a 20-year Scotch, you're like, holy shit, it's like less than that.
Yeah, that's what the price is out there. It's just.
But that's why you have people waiting in line for Eagle Rare, because you can get a 10-year bottle for $40.
I mean,
That's
you're paying for new
we do that
barrels,
on like
and you're
every other
paying
week
for
basis.
hot aging weather that the angel share sucks the either the water or the alcohol out of it. And that's kind of what you're paying for, because as you get up in those ages, and then you also are paying for an expertise, because it's not easy to get a 10-year, a 15-year bourbon. You got to cherry pick the barrels that are going to make it, because most of it, if you let it go too long, it's going to turn really oaky and people aren't going to like it. So there's a lot that goes into that. Whereas when you're dealing with the used barrel, it's such a softer and more forgiving medium, in my opinion. You know which way directions it's going, and it needs the age, right, to pick up the flavor of the barrel. If you don't leave it in there long enough on a used barrel, it doesn't work.
Doesn't, and that is another funny difference about bourbon and Irish whiskey, because isn't it bourbon, the longer it sits in the barrel, the higher the proof goes? A lot of times.
Yeah, especially if it's at the top of the rick house, when you get that heat, it really sucks the water out. Now, if you leave it at the bottom of the rick house, it will suck some of the alcohol out, and it ages slower. But there's it's, once again, you really gotta stay on top of it, because of they're doing it right in the middle or a little bit lower, where there is enough heat to be able to get those caramels and those vanillas that it mixed in when they do the batches. Whereas in Ireland, you're not dealing with quite the heat, and you're dealing with used barrels, and you deal with the ocean. Adding in that terroir off the shores really changes a lot of things.
The current, and the proof goes down the longer it's in the barrel.
Yeah, because it's a cooler temperature. Yes,
much cooler.
Yeah, but
interesting how just changing the location changes so much about whiskey.
Well, I mean, just like Crown, it's aged in Canada. It's just you're talking about aged in used barrels in Canada. You can leave that baby in there for 20 years, and you open it back, you have almost lost nothing.
That is true. We just finished the Canadian on the live here, because I have friends that supply the barrels to Wayne Gretzky's distillery up in Canada.
Oh.
And so they sent us these, which are really cool. I like the maple barrel ones. Jay doesn't like them very much, so I poured it in stuff when he wasn't looking. And he's like, what is that?
What?
I like it personally. Mark, did you like the one that I just poured us?
It was fun.
See what I'm saying? I thought it was good.
Go to Switzerland on this one.
But the thing is, up in Canada, I don't think they lose much out of their barrels, because it's so cold most of the time. It's always the same temperature. It doesn't really get the heat, the cold.
What do you mean the same temperature? Half the time it's for God's sakes, Florida is the coldest state. That's Fargo, North Dakota. That's their Florida.
With saying that same temperature, I mean that it's always cold. It's Canada.
No, there's no doubt. There's a thing about aging, but like when Ohio did the Canadian or the Crown single barrels, those were spectacular. I mean, those were really good whiskeys.
15.
We tried to get all 15 to do like a 15 video on, because I thought it'd be kind of cool. We could only get 6.
I got 10. So I went throughout Ohio, and there was 6 flavors that nobody had in Ohio. No matter whether you call Toledo, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Youngstown, nobody had 6 flavors. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Because he works in Columbus, so I'm like, if you can find the ones I have out there, I can get everything on the west and east side of Cleveland, and we can find everything here, so we could try to get all of them, but
old-fashioned.
it didn't work.
Yeah. Hey, Matt.
Frosted Snickerdoodle was the best, though.
Matt, CT got all of them.
Are you kidding?
No,
CT, you got all of them?
no, I
Even the
did not
mystery
get
one?
all of them.
How many did you get?
I think I got 3 of them. I got cherry old fashioned, cherry old fashioned, the almond, and then the lemon meringue pie.
And you guys got none of those.
Old-fashioned is the only one we don't have.
We got elephant ear, the snickerdoodle frosted one, maple butter,
Cinnamon.
buttercream, cinnamon. Buttercream and cinnamon. That's 8.
And a friend of mine has the lemon.
You got the
That's the lemon caramel.
All right, so we got 9 of it.
mystery locally, but I didn't want it because I don't know what it tastes like.
I don't know. I would have been kind of intrigued by the mystery one. That was one I was like, this is cool.
Of course they would. They thought.
But I also have one from 2 years ago, I think, that's sitting up on my crown. I mean, you guys saw my crown shelf when you guys came here. I have one sitting on the end that's from 2 years ago. I think it's the orange dreamsicle. There's
Yep.
a bottle on top of it.
Is there a reason
And I have-
why your crown shelf is no longer on your videos?
It kind of moved over to the side, and it goes all the way to the ceiling, and they're double stacked. I have everything except maple and honey.
There you go.
Off the crown.
You got it.
I do have it.
You
So I
got
have
orange.
orange creamsicle from 2 years ago. I do have one.
Banana Foster from 2 years ago was the best.
Banana Foster was the best one.
How sad is
ago.
that? I haven't drunk this yet. If drunk is a word, how sad is that? Oh,
All right. So,
we should.
all right, guys. Anybody to finish up what for St. Patrick's Day? We're gonna be up there, Matt. We look forward to CT and I. We're gonna work it out so that we're up there. I think Roxy's gonna try and come. Looking forward to some good food. Put pressure on Matt for that because I have high expectations for him cooking for me.
Me too, Matt. I'm gonna tag you in this video, and this is the point of the video where you're gonna see me and be like, "Hey, I definitely have to be at Matt's house in the morning early."
Right. So
I'm excited.
it's gonna be. I look forward to partying. We'll probably be out of there a little bit earlier, but we're gonna do it in the morning because that's when you should start, right, Stacey?
I will be
And-
starting very early on St. Patrick's Day morning. I'll be in a parade.
Stacey, thank you for coming on and helping us through what really is kind of a something that we don't know a lot about. So it's nice having somebody like you who knows a lot about Irish whiskey, that we don't screw it up because we know what we've learned so far, but we aren't exactly good about it. So it's nice to hear and learn through what you know about it. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for the invite. This was fun.
Well, it's like let's make a tradition of it on our having you on because I really like what you've added, and honestly, normally the podcast is us kind of milling around, and you really gave us focus and some history and some knowledge of what we know almost nothing about, really, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
and by next year at this time, Stacey, you can guarantee yourself one thing: we will know no more about Irish whiskey than we do right now.
I'm not sure I'll have been to Ireland again. So
we're gonna try and do either this next. I'm thinking next. Well, we just brought on a new sponsor, so we're going to Texas next year. Rosewood Bourbon is our sponsor, so he's been inviting me to a ton of things to go down, and I'm like, I don't have any more time off, but maybe 2026, maybe we can do a Ireland trip where we combine both your people and our people, and we all go over there and do a bunch of tours and go to Ireland because I really would like to. Cleveland has direct flights over there.
Oh, I'm well aware because I still have to book my flights.
There you go.
So yeah, we might be flying out of Cleveland.
That's
I think Cleveland only has direct flights on.
Yeah.
My cousin already's been over there and had a good time and been back, and it worked out really well. So, all right. So I'm gonna end us in the Facebook right here. I'm just gonna take us off Facebook, so we'll just be, and then I'll do YouTube. Let's see. Am I using this backwards? Yes, I am. Facebook. All right, everybody on Facebook, thanks for joining us. We're off Facebook. I'm going to take us off YouTube, and then I'll just, we can finish up.
Yeah, very good. That's